Good evening, my name is Richard. This is Over and Over and Over Again, and this is the World Cup 2023 match review. Of course, England Lionesses are in the semi-final of the World Cup. 5 semi-finals now in a row. Fantastic it was to see earlier on today, of course, coming from behind to beat Colombia, and England now massive favourites to go all the way to the final. So we've got that to look at. Obviously, we'll look ahead to that semi-final against the host Australia, which won't be easy, but the momentum that we've got now, it's all in our favour to go through, isn't it? And also as well, we have got a very special guest joining us, which is really exciting for us on the channel. Someone we've been looking forward to getting on the show for a while. You'd have heard his name quite a bit, I'm sure, but that's all coming up the other side of this introduction with music from Pete Drake.
Lionesses, you come so far, but don't forget who you are. Your roots are yours, but also ours. Giving hope to rising stars. Lionesses, here we go. 2-0.
And we have got, of course, our usual guest, Andreas, who's actually in a different location today, as you can see from his background. Not his usual background, but he's with us, which is good to see. How are you tonight, Andreas?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm fine, thank you. And after this emotional match, I had to be in the show no matter where I am. And everybody who knows me, my friends, they understand that I had to stay and, just join the show. It's so emotional, and I'm so happy about the result.
And of course, we're so happy that you're able to join us as well, because we wasn't sure if you'd be able to earlier on, so that's good as well. And of course, Amar as well, as usual, is here. Good to see you again. Obviously, Saturday's maybe a better night for you at the minute with work and stuff, so it's good to see you. Been a good day, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, it was the first of the week off. I did 3 weeks, so it's been really good. I had it pinpointed. I watched the last 16 and quarterfinals. Yeah, no, it was really good. I started off by in the France game, Australia-France game, watched the penalties, and then straight after that, it was just like straight into it. And then, it was really good, and we played really well, and there's a lot to be happy about, so that's really good.
There is a lot to be happy about, and there's a lot to be happy about on the channel as well, because we have got a very, very special guest joining us now. Throughout anyone who's watched the channel for the last maybe 18 months or so would have heard music that we use, and it is one person who produces all our music. Is with us tonight, finally on the channel. Very, very pleased to welcome the one and only Pete Drake. How are you, Pete? Good to see you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm a lot better after that result this morning.
We all are.
Yeah. I just recovered from the France game, the France-Australia penalty shootout, which I thought we were going to go on forever. I thought we were missing the beginning of the England game.
Yeah, they thought they had to delay the start to get all the penalties in, but anyway, they finally got that done. And obviously, Pete looks slightly different than he does on the cover there of his great album.
I had much more hair then.
But that's Pete Drake. It's like a greatest hits album. It's fantastic as well, and also as well, of course, the World Cup song, which is out as well. So make sure that you get that as well.
White Cato EP, because when you search it,
I've got one here as well.
It's real. It's there. There you go. Everyone's got one. So if you haven't got one, you're checking out some fantastic music as always. So, let's start actually, Pete. Obviously, we've played your music on the channel for quite a long time because I just love it. I think it's brilliant. What kind of inspires you to come up with the songs that you do? Because some of the lyrics are just brilliant, aren't they? Just fantastic, so funny.
Yeah, well, I think I realised quite a long time ago that I'm not that great a musician, really, and I'm not a very good singer, and I'm not very good on guitar. But what I did find out that I could make people laugh. So I thought, well, I'll try and do the comedy element to the song. And it kind of worked, you know what I mean? I mean, the football ones aren't really the comedy ones. I do that for the fun and to support our Lionesses, really. But the rest of my stuff really has a comedy twist on it, really. And I find it works. Believe it or not, people book me to play gigs. It's really strange.
It's not that strange at all. I think your songs are brilliant. I mean, this greatest hits album, I suppose we could call it. I mean, that album there, it never comes off my car stereo. Literally, it's just brilliant.
Brilliant.
It does make me laugh. The lyrics are funny. There's no doubt about that. But I just think musically it works. Yes, it's not going to be on top of the pop, probably not. But who cares? It's just fantastic. I love it, and most people that listen to the channel love the songs that we play. And it's great to
I mean, it's mainly done DIY. I do all my own videos myself. Some of you may have seen that have hand drawn the women footballers, but it's all done at home. There's no big money machine behind me doing. You know, it's all organic, as it were.
And all the better for it, actually, because it's more real that way, isn't it? I think, anyway, personally, that's my opinion, and I think it's great. And
yeah, I've got a good friend, Mark Adamson, who's my producer, and he's like we're sort of a partnership in music, and he helps me a lot doing the production and stuff like that. I just write the songs and play guitar. Really, I do the easy bit. He twiddles all the knobs.
Coming up with them songs is pretty good. I mean, I say sometimes I look at. I mean, just for an example, people that maybe don't know Pete Drake's songs. Some of the songs on this album, for example, one of them is called "I Gave Toya a Pete Drake Badge." I mean, what better song title can you have than that? I mean, just brilliant. Another one is "All the Fans Can't Stand." I mean, you know, what great titles for songs before anything else, and the songs themselves are just brilliant. So, you know, you do have to get into them. When I get old, I'm going to be beautiful like Bananarama. I mean, what a title for a song that is. It's fantastic. I mean, you have to get this album because the titles don't really give it justice because you've got to listen to the song. They're brilliant. And of course, you know, the Beautiful Game and Left Foot, Right Foot Header, which was the Euros song from last year. We play this on the channel a lot. They're fantastic. And obviously this year's one, which is the theme tune. Where did you get the inspiration from that from for this year's one? The Waikato to Wellington. Where did that come from?
Well, whenever you write a football song, I think you have to look at the venues and where the teams are playing and stuff. And I thought with it being New Zealand and Australia, we'd include some like Eden Park gets a mention, the Dunedin gets a mention, Waikato, Wellington. I mean, England, we've not even gone to New Zealand, have we?
No,
but we could, if we'd have finished runners up in the group, we might have had to get on a plane and go up to New Zealand. So I'm sort of chancing my arm with some of it, really, because in the other song, exactly. Europeans in Australia, I've included Vivian Miedemar. You know what I mean? And she's obviously. She's been injured for a long while, and I was going to change it. And I thought, well, you never know. Miedemar might have gone to Australia anyway, just to cheer a team on, you know. So I left some things alone. And interestingly, in the Europeans in Australia one, I originally included Wendy Renard, and then she dropped out of the squad, and I rewrote the song to include Teletti.
Wow.
But everything changed again. The French team got back together, and Renard were back in, but I left her out in the end. Anyway, but they're all going home now, the French. I don't know whether you saw that.
It was a shame.
Oh, your heart goes out for them, man. Your heart goes out for them.
To see him going home.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think I'd rather have Australia in the semi-finals. To be honest. I think it'll be a really good game. I think it's a good showcase.
It's good for the host nation to get as far as they can as well, isn't it, for the tournament as well? So it's nice that they got through. And obviously, from our perspective as Arsenal fans, it's nice that there's a couple of Arsenal players in the Australia team as well.
Caitlin Ford and
a couple of others. Unbelievable this tournament. The understanding between those two has been unbelievable as well.
Yeah, I mean,
they're a good side.
They are a good side. I mean, superb. We're not going to take them for granted because we can't afford to in this World Cup, as we've seen plenty of shocks and surprising results, which has been great. So, but anyway, I mean, that's obviously. Yeah, go on.
I still think it's anybody's World Cup. I don't really think there's one. I don't think there's one team that can say, "Oh, we're definite favourites now." Any of them, 4 teams that are remaining could win this thing. And I think it's going to be Tuesday and Wednesday. The games are going to be absolutely fantastic, and I'm glad in a way that Sweden and Spain go first. To be honest, get their game. We can enjoy that one, can't we? And then
enjoy that,
and then we can bite our nails on Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's been a good World Cup. Obviously today, then this morning. To the last 2 quarterfinals, as we said, the French lost on penalties in the end. A penalty shootout that seemed to go on the whole length of the match again in terms of time. which was mad. And obviously Australia did go through, and then we had to kind of suffer a little bit in our game, didn't we? I mean, Andreas, it was in the end, we maybe a little bit fortunate in some ways, but I thought we played pretty well overall. And you have to say that to come back from 1-0 down in a quarter-final of a World Cup, that's character, isn't it? Which we've shown time and time again when it's come to the big moments. We rise, don't we, to the challenge almost every time.
Yeah, of course, it was a challenge for the team, and and they managed it once again. We were going through really difficult situations with the injury from Kira in the Denmark match, then the red card, and down to 10 after this foul from Lauren James, and now 1-0 behind in a knockout match 1 minute before halftime, and then coming back. This shows the resilience in the team, and how focused they are. I think nobody underestimated Colombia, because you could see why they are in the quarterfinals, why they have won against Germany. But we started good in the match. We had first chances, header from Rachel Daly, a chance from Alessia Russo, and I think we were good. Became good in the match, and you could say we were the better team in the first half. But this goal was just brilliant. I don't know whether you can say it was a mistake from Mary Earps. It was a difficult ball for her, because you couldn't see, is it a cross or is it a shoot on goal? And it's just 1 second. First you thought, she gets it, and then she was in doubt and made 1 or 2 steps backwards, and then she couldn't get the ball. This happens. I don't think it was a clear mistake from the goalkeeper, but then the reaction before halftime, trying to come back into the match and trying to get the equalizer. This shows the strength of the team. And of course, it was a lucky situation, and this was a clear mistake from the goalkeeper. But to be there, and Alessia Russo was there, she tried to get the ball, and then Lauren Hemp reacted faster than all the other players there, and this was a deserved goal, and of course it was the best moment for the equalizer. in stoppage time of first half, and then go into halftime with 1-1, and knowing you came back, you are back in the match. This was a very important moment. And then the best that could happen was a goal in second half, and what a goal from Alessia Russo. It showed her quality. I think she had a great match. I heard on TV, I think was it Emma Hayes as co-commentator, who said Alessia Russo covered every single inch on the pitch, and that's it. She worked so hard, and there was one chance for her, and what she did after this pass from Georgia Stanway, brilliant pass from Stanway, this was just fantastic. One touch, and then she saw her chance, and brilliant shoot in the corner, in the back of the net, and just great. It shows what we can expect from her. I
mean, it was a very, very good goal, and it's good because I think in this tournament, Russo has had a lack of real quality service in front of goal that she could do a lot with. She scored 2 goals in the World Cup. And really, she couldn't have scored a lot more than that, because the opportunities haven't been for her. And, she has worked so hard. She's dropped deep. She's done so much for the team. And I thought she deserved that today. And it just goes to show, doesn't it? She doesn't need 25 chances to score, as a certain Australian striker does. Give her a shot and go away, and she did today. And that just goes to show, doesn't it, what quality we've just brought in at Arsenal as well, what we can look forward to this season. Because that's a world-class goal in a world-class moment in a quarter-final of a World Cup. She did it in a quarter-final last year against Sweden, didn't she, with a back-heel goal. And she's done it again in a quarter-final this year with that amazing goal today. So, I mean, I'm so excited to see how she gets on at Arsenal now, because you can see quality. But it's not just about Russo. It was great for Russo today, because I say she's been so starved of service in front of goal that it was great to see her win such a big game in the way that she did. But you're right, it was what England have shown under Sarina, certainly over the last 2 or 3 years, is that mentality to be not to accept defeat. That's what they don't understand how to lose games today, and that's a good thing to have. We don't go behind very often, actually.
No.
Against Spain, of course, last year in the quarter-final, we went behind and came back. We've done it again in the quarter-final here. And it's just that, you're right, as soon as Colombia scored, which was a bit that David Seaman against Brazil moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, it did. Echoes of that,
yeah.
I remember echoes.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that goal. And the way that we straight away, we knew there wasn't a lot of time left in the first half. We just threw everything at it to get that equaliser. Yes, it was a bit fortunate the way we got the goal, but you've got to make the most of those opportunities when they come along, and we did. And that, I think that was a turning point of that game. If we'd gone in 1-0 down, it would have been extremely difficult to win that game. I'm not saying we couldn't have won it, but it would have been extremely difficult. That equaliser at half-time, I felt then the momentum was with us and we would probably win. And that was so important, that goal. But yeah, I mean, it was a much improved performance today than it was against Nigeria, which it had to be. We said that the other night, didn't we? If we played as poorly again, we'd probably be out, and we didn't. We stepped up. We rose to the challenge. We had a few difficulties in the game, and we came through. I mean, Amar, it was a great England performance, wasn't it? But also as well, it is that mentality that I'm so impressed with this team, because they just do not stop. Do they? And whatever they have to do to win a game, whether it was the penalties the other day, we had to hang on a bit for penalties, or whether it's actually showing that quality in the team to be able to get the goals that we need to turn a game around. It's great to watch, isn't it, from an England team?
Yeah, and it's rather than, if you go back to a few years ago the previous management, I don't want to say too much about them. You said there was this fear that maybe they went into games not having that belief that they could do well against the bigger teams. How many times especially after losing to the US, and then after they went on a real bad run, and it was difficult to pick them up. And yeah, no, but since Sarina came in with one defeat in 2 years, just tells you everything you need to know. That's 10 major tournament games now, and they conceded 4 goals. And that just tells you how much he's improved the team inside out, made them believe, made them know their roles and how they contribute to the team, and how they can contribute to the team. And it's showing that the confidence and the belief she's instilled into the squad. It's showing all around the pitch. If you look around, how dangerous Linda Caicedo was today, for example, she was marked out. She was really well shielded. I think was it Greenwood or was it Carter? I can't remember who it was now. But yeah, they really shielded her well, and she had a bit of influence, but it wasn't as influential as she'd been early in the tournament. And the way I thought Alex Greenwood was fantastic, Lauren Hemp as well kept her on. I only made one suggestion. I thought even Ella Toon looked all right when she came back into the team as well. Russo and anyone could have been man of the match. They could just see it. They just have this. It's what Sarina's instilled into them, because what she did with the Dutch. She's a world-class coach. They don't have that fear. In many ways, they've become the team now that has to be feared by everyone, which is great to see. They go into games believing they can win them rather than not trying to lose them, which is a key thing going, which is so impressive. And getting Sarina was a great coup for us. But going forward, let's see. I mean, Australia will be an entirely different test. It'll be like going into when they faced Canada, I remember, a few years ago, but they passed that test. And it's just flooding through the players now. They just know their roles out there. They know what they want to do. They know how it's a defined style of play, and it's great to watch. And long may it continue.
Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully it's going to continue for 2 more games at least. For another week or so. But yeah, I mean, it is. You can see the difference in everything about the way that we play. In the last World Cup, although we reached the semi-final and we did pretty well, we played some good football at times. You could kind of sense that we didn't believe we were going to win that World Cup. You kind of felt that when we got to the semi-final, we'd done as well as we could do. And yeah, we were a bit unfortunate in that semi-final against America. We know that the goal that was disallowed and all that kind of stuff, and the penalty that we missed, of course. But I never felt that the team had that belief. And I think winning the Euros obviously helped massively. And you can see. And now playing big games, and you can see the difference. And I think that in this World Cup, we've had to overcome different type of opposition. We had that Haiti team who were something we'd never really faced before, and we managed to get through that game. We faced obviously Nigeria, a very physical Nigeria team, and we coped with that. And then today against a Colombia team who had a very different style, and we coped with that and nullified that and won the game. And it just goes to show it doesn't matter who we play, we can adapt and adjust. And yeah, we're not going to play brilliant football every single game. Nobody does. Not even Manchester City have poor games every so often. So it's a matter of managing the games and getting through them when you have to, doing what you need to do to win. And yes, Sarina has brought that to this team in abundance. You know, it's almost like Sarina doesn't know what losing means. It's almost like that's not a word that she even understands.
No, exactly, yeah.
Maybe that's the title for a future song. Sarina doesn't know what losing means. That could be a good title for a song, couldn't it? You know, maybe for the
I think with this England squad is that we have got depth in the squad.
Absolutely.
We've got so many options off the bench, and it doesn't weaken the team bringing on these substitutes. If anything, it makes us stronger. It absolutely makes us stronger, and we're doing it, making the subs at the right time. I mean, getting Chloe Kelly minutes is going to be important later on in the tournament. In the semi-final, if we get to the final, because I'm sure she'll play a part in it. Ella Toon has come back into the team and looked. I thought she had a decent game today. She's picking up them little pockets of space. But yeah, it's great. I mean, we're not talking about Lauren James anymore, are we? We don't have to. We don't have to. If we get through that semi-final, I think it'd be very difficult for her to get back in the team. When at the beginning of the tournament, she looked like the best player in the world. But that just proves the depth we've got, I think.
It does, and the fact that other players, as you said, can step in, can't they? Step up, and I mean, Ella Toon today, she hasn't been that great. I hasn't felt in this tournament, and even coming into the tournament, she wasn't playing that well. She got left out of the team, and you could kind of think, that was maybe the right decision. And today, Sarina's given her responsibility in a really important game. She could have brought Chloe Kelly in from the start today, couldn't she, to replace Lauren James?
Yeah,
but she did. She went with Ella Toon, and it worked. And I agree with you. I thought Ella Toon had a good game today. She looked almost back to that Euros type performance from her. I thought today, much more like her old self.
Yeah.
And again, is that because Sarina's spoken to her? Explain the importance of her role in that team today, and she rose to the challenge as they seem to do, don't they? It's just incredible how they can keep producing these performances. I must admit, I was worried before the World Cup. I mean, we spoke about it on here about coming into the tournament last year at the Euros. We had momentum with us. We were winning the friendlies. We were playing great football. We had the home crowd with us, and you felt everything was in our favour. And the tournament went on and we got stronger and stronger. Whereas in this World Cup, we came into it on poor form, really. We couldn't score goals. We were looking as though we'd lost a bit of our sparkle. We had a few players missing, as we know. But suddenly, as this tournament's gone on, we've found a different way to play, a different way to win games. Because it's been different to the Euros, hasn't it? I mean, there's not been one performance. I mean, maybe the China game to a certain degree was more like a Euros performance, wasn't it? But overall, we've not really played like we did in the Euros. And yet here we are in a semi-final again, and we're finding different ways to win games. And that's what I've liked about this World Cup, actually. The way that we've managed to do that against different type of opposition, as we said before. We've adapted, we've changed. And, the depth in the squad. In the Euros, we didn't see it too much because it was the same starting 11. The same substitutes generally came on at the same point. And it was like she was using 14, 15 players. But in this World Cup, for different reasons, the starting 11's had to change almost every game. We've lost players here and there. We've had injuries. We've had suspensions. And, she's the system of the team as well a little bit, free at the back and what have you. And it just goes to show what a great coach she is. That she's able to make those changes ongoing in a tournament when you don't get a lot of time to practice these things because you've got a game in 3 or 4 days. You can't spend weeks and weeks training and practice for it. You just have to go with it. And she's done that, and and the players have done it as well. And it's been remarkable. In fact, in a way, I know a World Cup's a bigger tournament than the Euros anyway. But I think if we do win this World Cup, even if we get to the final of this World Cup, it would be a bigger achievement than the Euros just because of the way the adversity we've had to overcome to do it. Whereas last year in the Euros, things did all go in our favour and it was great, but maybe we didn't have too much adversity apart from that Spain game where we had to come from behind and we were close to getting knocked out. So, but I think that's been so. It's almost like a growth, isn't it, of this group of players from the Euros where they were almost like a new team on the block, if you like, winning a tournament and then growing from there to become this team now that actually looks to be a complete package, don't we?
Almost, pretty much,
yeah. Even when we don't play particularly well, we're still finding ways to win games and winning ugly sometimes.
It's a fantastic quality to have.
It is, yeah, and I think we've had to adjust maybe as fans a little bit because last summer the football was brilliant. This summer it's been not quite so easy on the eye to watch, but there's been a lot more to really enjoy about it in some ways because of how different it's been. That's how I've felt about it. I mean, Andreas, how do you feel about it? Do you think that that's probably fair? Because last year was so good, almost like you will never play football like that in a tournament again. It's never going to probably happen. I don't think anybody can. And we've had to do it differently this time, haven't we? But we're getting the same results. It's just amazing, isn't it, to see that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. The challenges are a lot higher this year, starting with three key players missing, and to deal with this situation. And yeah, as we said during the tournament, every match there were new challenges, and the fantastic thing is Sarina finds solutions. She has ideas, she finds solutions, and she can convince her players to follow her ideas, to do what she thinks is the best in every next match. And this makes her different from other coaches. Look at the USA, Germany, big teams. They are out, and the criticism in these countries was their coaches didn't find the solutions, didn't react to tactical challenges from the opponents. And Sarina does this. There's always another team to play, and yeah, new tactical challenges, and she always finds the right solution, the right idea. She brought in Katie Salem, she brought Ella Toon back, and Lauren Hemp was out for one match, then she came in again. So it's just I think this success, being in the semifinals, is a big success from the coach. Yes. And what makes her a different coach to all the others from the big teams that are out. And this World Cup is just from the quality. It's a fantastic World Cup, and you see the smaller teams have closed the gap, and it's fantastic that Australia is still in. You see the atmosphere in the stadium, and yeah, the atmosphere in the country. It's very good for the tournament that Australia came through the penalty shootout and is in semifinals, or is in the tournament until the last or the day before the last day. This is very good, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this match. We have Arsenal players in both teams, Australia and England, so we will have winners and yeah, World Cup finalists in every case. But of course,
they're all winners. They're definitely not. You don't. I'm not mentioning the L word. They're definitely all winners in my eyes.
Yeah, of course, we hope that the Lionesses will be in the final. But it's fantastic to see Australia, and what a tournament Caitlin Ford is playing. You can only say she does in this World Cup what she did the whole season for the Arsenal. And now everybody can see how important she is, how good she is. Fantastic to watch her.
Yes.
It's been a pretty good World Cup for the Arsenal women players anyway, hasn't it? Let's be honest. I mean, Amanda Illistadt scoring 4 goals from 15. Incredible. And you know, obviously Stina playing well for Sweden as well. And yeah, it has been a good tournament for our players as well. But yeah, we all hope, don't we, that it is going to be England in that final. You know, and I mean, I remember saying at the start of the World Cup that, you know, if England couldn't win it, then I wanted to see the winners have an Arsenal player to win it, whoever it might be, if it's not England. And you know, it's looking a great chance that's going to happen now. As long as Spain don't win it, we're there, aren't we?
Yeah, Spain.
We've got to keep our fingers crossed it's not Spain. Anybody but Spain.
Man, they're looking good. You know,
they are looking. I thought they were a bit fortunate to beat Holland yesterday, but anyway, you know, they got the result.
I thought overall, when I saw that, that's interesting. You should say that they had so many chances. Van Domselaar again. I mean, this tournament. We don't talk too much in this tournament about keepers. This is arguably been a tournament for the keepers tournament. I mean, Musovic was absolutely world class. Some of the saves. I think the one which you can't remember who had the header, was it Gonzalez? She had tipped it onto the post, and she had another amazing save. This goalkeeper, and Mary Earps, not to mention in the game today, made a brilliant from an effort from about 30 yards out when the score was 2-1, could be 2-2. So I mean, this World Cup has been one where
Yeah.
keepers have been absolutely almost gone. I wouldn't say gone unnoticed, but the performance of them have arguably, how would you say, have not been spoken about in as much depth maybe as some of the other players you see on the pitch.
Well, funny enough, when we did a show, didn't we, Andreas, at the beginning of the World Cup, we said, didn't we, about how much the keepers had improved compared to maybe 2 World Cups ago when that was a big issue in the Women's Cup. And it's now improved.
They all like to take a penalty as well, don't they?
Yeah. Although I was happy for Mackenzie Arnold, we didn't Mackenzie Arnold earlier, but that was tense.
There's been a couple of goalkeepers. I mean, Pete, the goalkeeping has been great, hasn't it? Overall in this World Cup, the goalkeeping has been brilliant.
It's been really good. I don't think we can fault Mary Earps for the goal today. I think it was just one of them. It should have been 2 inches taller. She might have got it, but it was just a fly to the ball. I don't think there's anything she could do about it. But it was a mistake. It was a mistake for Lauren Emp's goal, though. Definitely, it was a bit of a gift, that one. I think. I think
that knocked the stuffing out of Colombia. They could see they struggled to recover after that. Although they did have a good spell in the second half, England always controlled it. And I know a lot of people say that the Stanway, she almost had a shot wide and set up a goal for Rachel Daly. And then I don't know whether it was a good pass, but I think there wasn't enough more on Russo's skill to actually turn away from the defender rather than it being a defensive error. And for that to finish in the corner, that was clinical as well. But it's been a crazy day. I mean, that shootout was something else, and now this year, two fantastic semi-finals to look forward to. And I can't. It's a coin flip basically.
Yeah. I know it is. It's impossible to say either of them 4 teams at this moment, as we said, could win the World Cup, could be in the final. We just don't know. It is exciting, and it's looking like being a really big week. I mean, obviously, Pete, that England game today, was that the best game you saw today? Then, because it's not the only game you've seen today, is it?
I think I enjoyed the France-Australia one more.
Yeah.
That was a good game. That was a good game. Funnily enough, I left the England game after 60 minutes because I had to get to Gainsborough. I had a fear that we were going to go to extra time. So I thought, well, if I can get into the Blues Club, which is the pub on the side of the stadium at Gainsborough, if I can get in there, I'll be able to watch the extra time in the pub. So I listened to the last 20 minutes on Radio 5 going in, and then I caught the last 10 minutes.
Karen Bardsley, wasn't it? Yeah, Vicky Sparks, Karen Bardsley. That's right.
Yeah. Wow. So it all worked out. It was a cunning plan.
It was very cunning. Maybe that's why they won. Maybe it would have gone to extra time.
Yeah.
You'd have missed the Gainsborough game, and you'd have seen extra time. But anyway, it worked out well. England won. And
it did,
I mean, it was quite tense at the end a little bit. Colombia came back into it and had 1 or 2 chances, and your heart was in your mouth a little bit. But it's no fun winning 5-0, is it? Let's be honest. You're better off winning 2-1 and going through a little bit of nervy last 5 minutes. It's more exciting, isn't it, that way? Do you know what I mean?
I thought Ramirez up front for Colombia. What a handful!
Fantastic.
I wouldn't like to mark it.
I was thinking Linda Caicedo didn't actually play for a world-class team, but in fact, she's playing for Real Madrid now. And you think the players we've got now, they could really be a threat to the likes of Barcelona.
She's a good player,
I mean, they could be one team, especially if we get through our Champions League qualifying phase. There's one team you'd probably want to avoid.
Well, we're worried about the Champions League.
Not just saying. I know. Too far.
We're going to win it anyway, obviously, so we don't need to go to it. Terry's in the chat as always. He says, "Evening, Richard, man of mystery, Andreas, the one and only Amar, and of course, he says, a man of my last bought CD, Pete Drake." Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of CD up there as well. I've not bought any other CDs apart from Pete Drake's ones recently, which is good. Terry's got Sweden, England final, 4-3 England win. That wouldn't we?
On penalties or what? 4-3 on penalties.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we don't really want penalties, do we?
No.
Anyway, Terry says, what a difference when we put a decent cross in the box. Russo causes havoc. Yeah, exactly. And I say, we said before, Russo hasn't really got the service in enough the World Cup to really produce her best. But she's worked so hard and she deserved that goal today. Absolutely no question. Terry said, obviously talking about Lauren James, he says, agree, Pete. I think we had our best game today without her. Let's not send her out. Let's keep
No.
But yeah,
I think that's a bit harsh.
Without her in the team, then we did put her in the team against Nigeria. That's not her fault. She's done a great point. But anyway, Terry says we had Mida, of course. We were going to win the Euros. Pete said it in his song. He did, yeah. You know, it's funny, isn't it? Because the lyrics of that song about take the lead with Beth Mead. We took the lead with Beth Mead so many times in that Euros. I'm thinking, that before, because every single game, Beth Mead scored the first goal, didn't she? Virtually every single game. So,
it was a prophecy.
It was exactly that. It's exactly what it was, and it worked out well. I think Beth Mead heard the song and thought, right, okay, there you go.
Of course,
and she rose to this challenge.
Yeah.
So what we have to say is that England won the Euros because of Pete Drake's song. That's it. No other reason.
I'm taking all the credit. I'll take whatever credit comes my way.
No, I think that's probably right, because obviously, you know, you said it in the song, and that was written months before the tournament. So, you know, as you said, a bit of a
I had a good feeling. You need to be on the phone to Google, mate, because every time I Googled your name, they always come up with this old musician from Nashville, and they don't come up with you. So I don't know what's going on there, but.
I've got a funny story about that. It's been going on for years, this thing. There is another Pete Drake in Nashville, and he died in 1988, but he's still making music. He's got all my royalties.
Has he? Oh, you need to sort that out, don't you? Maybe
Every time I release a song, I have to try and sort it out, but it's an ongoing thing, an ongoing problem.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Well, as long as I mean, to be honest with you, you know, your music's a lot more modern than his anyway, so it's fine.
Exactly.
He's never even heard of Toya, probably. So you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So he doesn't deserve to get the hits that he's getting, does he? Quite honestly. Right, we've got Michael as well. He's our resident Barcelona fan. He says the fix didn't work. Almost Japan twice. He said, was it meant to be USA versus England? Well, it can't be now. He said, good luck, the Aussies. Looking forward to Spain, Barcelona 5, 2 for Lionesses 0. Heard it here first. I mean, you see, this is why I think most fans of other clubs dislike Barcelona, because their fans can be quite arrogant about how good they are. And let's be honest, we beat Spain in the Euros, and they've been a little bit fortunate in 1 or 2 games in this World Cup as well. They've been in the semi-final and they deserve to be there. And I would rather play Sweden in the final from a personal preference point of view. And I hope Sweden win that game quite comfortably, but I wouldn't be surprised if Spain do win. And I'm sure if Spain do win, they will be, and if it's England in the final, they will be looking for revenge, because I know they were very, very disappointed to lose that game in the Euros last year. You know, we deserved to win it in the end, but I think they felt a little bit that they should have won that game. So there'll be a bit of revenge. But what I think is, when I look through this semi-final, what I see a Spain team they've never got to a semi-final before, so it's their first ever time, and they've looked a little bit nervy in spells in games up till now. I thought they had a nervy spell. I mean, if Beerenstein had found the net on a couple of occasions, so they've looked a bit nervous because they've not been at this final phase of tournaments before. You know, you look at Australia; they've never been in a semi-final of a World Cup before, so it's a new ground for them. And then you've got obviously you've got Sweden, who have got a decent record in tournaments. It's not like they've won any tournaments. They do quite well when they get to semi-finals and stuff like that, as they did at the Euros. Of course, we beat them in the World Cup. And it's like, have they got the belief to go that one step further? England, the only team left in it that know how to win a tournament, know what it's like. We've got that experience. I think that gives us the edge. It gives us the edge against Australia, and I think it'll give us the edge against either Sweden or Spain, who we beat both of those in the Euros. So we've got to be happy, haven't we, with that situation as it stands at the moment. It's not like we've got America in there who've won numerous tournaments. You know, we're the most experienced side in this competition now, and it's on us to go out there and show that we can take that again, do that, get that to that level again. Terry says there, Barts are only good because they have English players in their side. Now they do. They were still good before that. They were still quite good before. Michael says, it's not just Barcelona fans. The arrogance is just me. No, it's not just you, mate. Honestly, you know, we admire your confidence, shall we say. But yeah, as the Barcelona as a club in general, I find them to be quite arrogant in general, to be honest with you. But anyway, that's fine. We've won a lot of trophies. They've played some great football. They've invented certain. Well, they haven't really invented much in football, have they? To be fair, they've copied what other people have done better previously. But anyway, they've done it well. And you know, if it is England Spain in the final, it will definitely be a great game. There's no doubt about that. Let's be honest. But we'll see.
I think Spain were the only team of the quarter finalists who were runners up in the group. Everyone else, all the other 8 teams, had won their group.
Yeah, but what they did though, they threw that game against Japan, didn't they, to finish second because it was an easier route for them. That's what they did. They lost that game on purpose.
Really?
I think they did. Actually, I think they looked at the draw and thought, you know what, if we come second, as it was panning out with the other groups, they looked at it and thought, if we come second, we've got an easier draw, and that's what they did. I know where they would do 4-0 to Japan if they had to.
I still think I still think they would have beaten Norway. I still think they would have beaten Norway. I still think they would have beaten Norway.
Yeah, they may have done. But when you looked at the draw all the way through to the final, it was an easier draw by coming second in that group, just the way that the other groups had worked out. And I think that played a part in the way they played against Japan, because there's no way Spain lose 4-0 to Japan if they have to get a result.
No, it was an odd result.
They wouldn't lose 4-0.
No.
True. Personally. But anyway, we'll see. It might pay off for them if they get to the final. They could say it worked because they're in the final. I think I said, and I know there was a few people surprised that Sweden beat Japan. I wasn't. I thought Sweden were a team that would be able to beat Japan because one, their style of play is something that Japan would have found difficult against. You know, that with their height, their danger from set pieces, and that's how it worked out. You know, and I wasn't surprised by that. And I think that Sweden are going to be a good match for Spain on the same basis because Spain are all fancy football and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, brilliant. But can they defend those set pieces? I'm not sure if they can. And I think Sweden have a great chance to win that game. Actually.
No, they do. They do. They surprised a lot with that performance against Japan. I must say they were very impressive. Very impressive.
I mean, Sweden have looked good actually in the tournament. I think there was a couple of group games they looked really, really good, and I felt they could go quite a long way. And obviously now they're in the semi-final, and they look that they'll be confident that they can get a result against Spain. Because I think Spain have got a mentality problem. They haven't got an ability that they're as good as anybody on the pitch. I think it's the mentality issue with Spain. It's always been the same. It was the same with the men's team for years, wasn't it? They always had great players, great teams, and they never managed to win anything. Yeah. And then obviously, finally, they managed to, didn't they? Back-to-back World Cups and Euros and whatnot. But it was that problem for years. And I think with the women's team, it looks the same. They're a very talented team. But when it comes to the crunch, have they got that mentality to win those really, really important games that they've never managed to do before? I'm not sure if they can. And I think the semi-final may well be that step too far for them. But even if it's not, we'll be waiting in the final to beat them. So we're not overly concerned.
I like the confidence, Richard. I like the confidence. That's great. But let's just take it one game at a time. Like we have been one little bit.
I mean, all I would say is that I wasn't overly confident at the start of the tournament that we could win it. You looked at all the nations in it and you thought, Germany, America, all these fantastic teams, and you're thinking, wow, we're going to have to really be at our best. And we didn't look at our best. But then everyone else is getting knocked out. And suddenly now we're in the last four and we're the best team left in it. So you've got to be confident because we are the best team left.
Oh, yeah. No, that's quite
we've got the experience, we've got the quality, we've done it before, and I think we're the best team that's left in this tournament now. I do. So we need to prove it now in the next two games and win it. But we'll see. We've got Radandra in the chat. He says, "Hi, Rich, Andreas, Peter. How are you doing, Radandra? Good to see you again. And hope you're well." It was exciting, wasn't it? No doubt about that. I mean, Pete, obviously, how did you get into women's football? Is it something that you've always followed, or has it been a quite recent thing for you?
I've probably followed it since last 6 to 7 years, really. And I don't really know how I probably got into it on a local level. I used to go down and watch Kroll play, which is a few miles down the road, and they had a women's team. And I've got 2 daughters, and obviously, I thought if I start taking them to women's games, that they might want to wear a pair of football boots and start playing themselves. And they do. My eldest daughter plays for Epworth now. My youngest daughter's got sort of lost interest in it a little bit, but that happens. You can't force people to play football. But yeah, I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy watching women's football. I think it's a good standard now, and it's just good to see young kids playing sport. Really, I'm actually one of the coaches down at Epworth now. I coach on under 11s girls side. And just to give something back to the community, really. Football's been good to me over the years. I'm still playing. So why not? Why can't I pass on my knowledge and
absolutely
and teach people skills and ideas and things? Yeah. So yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy football.
Yeah, I mean, and it's good, isn't it? Because football brings it's got that ability, hasn't it? Football to bring people together and communities together, and it's great to be a part of that. You know, I'm involved in local football quite a lot as well, and it's good, isn't it, that that anybody, if you've got an interest in football, you're more than welcome, aren't you, to help out clubs and get involved and stuff like that. And it's great, isn't it? And it is great to be involved in it. You know, especially with the kids, isn't it?
They're always after volunteers on a grassroots level. I mean, like the song Waikato to the Wellington mentions lots of grassroots clubs where our England Lionesses comes from, the roots. And without them teams, in fact, that without all the grassroots teams, because even though, like, you got Warwick Juniors and there's a few other teams I mentioned in the song, they need teams to play against. So they're all as important as each other. You know, these girls, without playing the football at grassroots level, never going to get to that next stage. And so the role is important. All the clubs, grassroots clubs, are important as each other.
That's very good. That's the point.
It is, and it is, and also as well, I think it's good what a lot of the Lionesses have done in terms of pushing, you know, for football to be played in schools more for girls and this kind of stuff, which is so important. And what I'd like to see is I would like to see the FA investing more in grassroots sort of girls junior football, really, a little bit more in terms of facilities and access to stuff, because I feel as though that's, as you rightly say, without those grassroots clubs, we wouldn't be where we are today. And also, as a lot of the players have said themselves, they had to play in boys' teams because there was no girls' teams for them, you know. And yeah, it's changed now, and it's changing. It's going to continue to change. But without people making those changes happen, it won't happen. And sometimes it is about investment as well, isn't it? Because it needs investment to grow as well. And that's something that the FA, I don't want them to, you know, with the success that there's been with the England team, with the WSL and at the top level of women's football, they seem to be very focused on that and putting a lot of money towards that. But they mustn't lose focus and lose track of the fact that without it filtering down in enough to the bottom level, it's going to finish. You can't maintain these players coming through without the investment at the bottom level to develop it in the first place. And hopefully the FA will realise that a lot more and start putting more effort and money into that side of it, because it's so important. You know, you're right. Clubs want volunteers, but clubs shouldn't necessarily need volunteers. There should be money available for people to come in and be able to be paid to help, because it's so important. And not everybody can give up their time for free. They're not able to do that, are they? Not everybody can. People would love to be involved, but probably think, well, I can't give up 2 or 3 hours on a weekend just for without some sort of incentive to do it. And some people need that, and I think that needs to be looked at as well. And there's enough money in the FA, there's enough money in football for them to be able to give more to grassroots. We can give what we can give for free, of course we can, and we will. But it's going to take more than that overall, isn't it, to make sure that this success the England team are having isn't just short-term success, that we can build on this for the future as well, going forward. And this can become the norm. You know, winning a tournament for English football is so unusual. You know, last summer was the first one for 56 years, whatever it was. And so to win another one now, and to even get to another final straight after that, it's important that this is built on, because what we don't want to wait another 50 years to get to another final after this, do we? We want this to be a regular thing. You know, do it. You know, look at America; they got to 4 or 5 finals in a row. Why can't that? Should be what we want to be aimed to do. We're only going to do that with the right investment coming in at grassroots level. Absolutely. and it's great that you're giving up all your time to do that. It's brilliant, and it's great that that it's that important, because it is important. It should be that important to everyone that loves the game, really. And,
I always say I get far more out of it than I ever put into it. You know, I enjoy it. The kids are great, and it's fun. It's fun for me, and it's fun for them, and that, I think that's what it's all about, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It is absolutely is about fun. Yeah, and I know you don't want to put pressure on anybody stuff like that, but without that, there's nothing else to aim for, is there? Because it won't exist ahead of that if the infrastructure is not right. It's massively important. But yeah, I mean, it's great that, you know, more and more people now, I think, are coming over from watching the men's game to really getting into the women's game.
Yeah.
In fact, the Emirates had 60,000 people paying to go and watch a Champions League semi-final for the women's game. Was just a massive step forward, and to show, doesn't it? You know, how much interest there is in this, and it needs to be sustained. Well, it can't just be a one-off. It can't just be for a year or two. It needs to become the norm, doesn't it? And there's no reason why it can't be, if it's done right. And at the moment, I've got doubts as to whether the FA are doing it right long term. You know, some of the stupid kickoff times, for example, and what have you, are not helping. Can
I add to that as well, sir? Can I add to that, Richard?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, if you think of, go back to last summer, even reading Beth Mead's book, how much we all can't wait to see her back on the pitch, and what a sight that will be for us. Reading a book, little extracts of a book, and when they wrote the letter, her and was it Lotta and Leo wrote the letter to the government, stating how they wish to get more girls actively involved. I think they also need the support of this government. I'm not sure. I don't want to go into politics too much, but I feel as if the FA could also do with being helped by the UK government a lot more in ensuring, as you say, that the euphoria and the excitement of last summer and now going to this summer isn't wasted. And it would be a travesty if that happened. And I agree. And they just need not only to encourage more girls to play the game and just use them as their heroes, for example, not use them as heroes, but going forward, if they want to pursue as a career, they need this help also from the government. I'm not too sure if the government is willing to do that, but we really don't want to see that go to waste, and it's important that the people who want to pursue their dreams are allowed to, you know.
Absolutely. Oh, 100%. Absolutely. And I say, I just feel, and we've said this on this channel quite a lot as well over the last year or so, that the FA, all they ever see in front of their face is how much money they can make from it, not looking at what they need, what needs to happen in terms of infrastructure and development and everything like that. They don't seem to be bothered enough about that. All they seem to be bothered about, look, the women's game is making a lot of money now, so let's try to get more money. How can we make more money from it? And that seems to be the overriding thing with it. And it's happened in the men's game as well, exactly the same. The money's taken over rather than what's best for the game at grassroots level. And it is something that needs to be massively looked at. And is that going to happen? I'm not confident that it will, if I'm honest. I think the success that we've seen in the last year or two has been great, but it's not going to be built on in the correct way, I don't think.
It's in danger of it,
taken over by money at the top, like the Premier League in the men's game, and not enough's going to be filtered down, and it's going to be a problem going forward. Hopefully it isn't. I just fear that it's going to be, because that's what happened in the men's game, and I can see so many similarities now with the start of the Premier League and all that kind of stuff. So let's hope that they've learned from their mistakes with that, and they don't. But they don't look at it as a mistake, do they? Because what they look at their bank balance and think, oh, hang on a minute, the men's game is profitable for us. The women's game is going to be profitable for us. So they don't look on the men's game as mistakes that's happened. They look on it as a success because of how much money they've made. But it's not about how much money they make that makes it a success for me. Lots of other factors in it, and I think the women's game is so important that they don't mess this up, because it's a big opportunity to not only for them to make money. Yes, of course, we expect them to make money, but to actually give something back to the whole, like you said, to enable girls to have that dream that they can follow in the footsteps of their heroes now that they see playing in Australia every day at the minute, and enjoying what they're seeing and wanting to become like them. You know, your daughters, Pete, they must look at, for example, people like Leah Williamson and Beth Mead and all the others as well. And they can aspire to that now, can't they? Because they've seen it happen.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it's all about, isn't it? That they can be that person. And and you can see, and they do like we do like group like a fun activity thing down at Epworth, where kids can like holiday club, and you can see the numbers increasing because they've been watching the football. You know, it has a massive influence on it.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's important that nobody loses track of how important that is. You know, as opposed to just looking at the top level and all that kind of stuff. It is so important, and it's great if that's what they do. It will be fantastic, won't it? So let's see how that goes. Terry said there, as Amar gone to sleep.
No,
He's dark, you know.
No lights, man. Honestly,
I think he's like what are them? What is it? Vampires that don't like the light? Is that what it is, or is it? I don't know if that's right.
Bats appear at night. I know. Yeah.
Oh, it's bats. Yeah, that's what it is. He doesn't like scared of the light, so it's to sit in the dark. That's fine. Vijendra says the FA should ask WSL teams to play their matches at their home stadiums, all games.
That's tricky. Though,
yeah, but you see, the problem with that at the moment is, and I'm not saying that's not a good idea. The problem is that a lot of the WSL games aren't going to attract big enough crowds. It costs a lot of money to host a game at a bigger stadium. Say, for example, the Emirates. It costs a lot of money to host a game there. And if Arsenal played all their WSL games at the Emirates, a lot of them games, as we saw some of the Champions League games, you're going to get 4,000 or 5,000 fans in, and it costs more money to host a game there than it makes it. And if that's happening a lot through the season, not just at Arsenal, but some of the smaller clubs, for example, it's going to be a bigger problem. I don't know if the women's game's at that level yet to be able to host all of the games at the men's stadium. Or I say the men's stadium, no. As Leah Williamson rightly pointed out, it's the club stadium is how it should look. She's right.
Yeah, not the men's stadium. Exactly. It has been a bit.
We're not. I don't think the women's game's at that level yet to be able to play all of the games at the club stadium, if you like. They need. I think a development phase is happening now. We're seeing more games being played there, and it will be the future, I'm sure. But I think for the time being, we have to walk before we can run, don't we? I don't think it's going to work just doing it all now. You know, it's like Madanda says there, we have 5 games, which I have tickets for. Yeah, we've got 5 games this season, which has increased from last year.
Plus the Champions League, yeah.
Plus the Champions League, yeah. 5
Hopefully.
Yeah. Let's hope there's more Champions League games as well. That was loads of them this season. But yeah, it's a step forward. And we can make that step because we're a big club and we've got a massive fan base. A lot of the other clubs in the WSL don't have a big fan base, and it would almost be counterproductive at the moment to have all the games in a 40,000, 50,000 stadium. It would be counterproductive for the atmosphere, for the whole.
Yeah.
I think you factor in how many fans. Sorry, Richard. If you can factor in how many fans get into games, Chelsea finally agreed they couldn't do that. The Kingsmeadow as well. They're playing 7 games. They're agreed to play 7 games. Manchester United have played a few games at Old Trafford, but for everybody team, Villa played a few at Villa Park. But it's just for some of the. I wouldn't be being polite when I say lesser teams. If you think like sort of Bristol's and maybe like your Readings in the park, look at Reading have played a lot of them and at the Medeski, for example. But it's just. It doesn't. How do I say it? It's not always the travel and the people and the times and how people can get it. That all has to be taken into account. It's just not viable for them to week in, week out.
It's the atmosphere as well, isn't it? It's the atmosphere as well. I mean, if you've got a big stadium that's mostly empty, the atmosphere is not the same as playing in a smaller stadium that's nearly full. You get a much better atmosphere. And I think they need to look at that as well. That needs to be part of what's taken into account. It's all very well saying that let's play the games all at the bigger stadiums, but if they're going to be empty, I was at a game at the Emirates, a Champions League game, not last season, the season before, and there was 5,000 there. And although it was a great night, I really enjoyed it. The atmosphere wasn't the same as it is at Meadow Park. If there's 4,000 at Meadow Park, it's ram packed and it's exciting. At Emirates, it felt echoey and all that kind of stuff. And it's not the same. It isn't. That's not as enjoyable as an experience, really. I don't think. But Vijendra says this will increase investment into the game.
It will.
Long term, it might do, but in the short term, it might turn people away because people turn up at these stadiums sitting on their own with massive seat emptiness around them, and they might think, "Oh, I don't like this," and not want to come back. So there's a balance to be had. It's difficult, isn't it? Because we need more fans to come into the stadiums. And obviously, Meadow Park sold out a lot now because of how successful Arsenal are and how successful women's football is. But I think we need to walk before we can run with it personally. But we'll see how what happens in a couple of years. The Dennis also try and play the European games.
Not sure about
Yeah, I
that.
must admit, the night games are tough, aren't they? When you've got a lot of kids go to women's games and stuff like that, it would be better. But then, I don't know. There are some weekends when there's no WSL games, so it could maybe work if they looked at the fixtures correctly. But it's not just that us, is it? Obviously, you've got the European games are out all throughout Europe. Everybody else has got to be able to do it as well, haven't they? Jan says that's because it's too late. No, you're right. It is too late in the evening.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem, but I don't know. They need to look at everything really and come up with the best plan to make sure that moving forward it's more accessible to everybody, not only to play but to watch and everything else as well. We all want to be able to get involved, don't we? But Dan says, can't get a season ticket for the WSL at Mayo Park. No, I couldn't even get a ticket last season for the games I wanted to go to because they were sold out. So, as much as we want to promote women's football and say, brilliant, everyone go along and watch it, I'm sitting at home thinking, I can't get a ticket for this game. I wanted to watch it. So it's that balance, isn't it, which is difficult. Terry says, a kid for a quid worked wonders for Charlton last few seasons, nearly always full. Yeah, but then you get Carla Ward saying that after they fill their stadium because they're giving tickets away for free. I'm sure it was Carla Ward that said that, wasn't it? But anyway. But yeah, it is something that needs to be looked at. And, I think the next couple of years, we're going to see a lot of change. We have anyway, in the last year, we've seen changes, haven't we, to women's football in this country. And it's going to keep changing and developing. And that's what we want to see. We want to see this development happen, don't we, moving forward. But I mean, for the time being, we can't worry too much about that because that's all for the future. For the time being, we've still got this brilliant World Cup. I mean, Andreas, what have you made of the World Cup overall? I know the kickoff times have been annoying. I haven't been able to watch as much of the games I would have liked, and it's you're at work and you can't watch the games and it does me head in. But it's actually been, I think it's been a great World Cup. What I've seen of it, it's been brilliant, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I have to say I'm astonished how good this World Cup worked with 32 teams. I think I'm not alone saying before the World Cup I thought this is too much. The women's game is not at a position with to host a World Cup with 32 teams. But I have to say I was wrong. As we said many times in our shows, the gap between the big names and the smaller teams has closed, and especially the smaller teams, which we expected to not to perform World Cup like, they brought this tournament forward. Whether it was Haiti or just Colombia, Nigeria, South Africa, they played great football and showed that the women's football has developed. And this is, for me, one of the key factors why this World Cup is so successful. And of course, the times when the matches are played for us in Europe are not the best. So most of the matches I could only see the highlights. But anyway, the atmosphere in Australia and New Zealand, especially in Australia, is just fantastic. And if you see 75,000 attendance or 45,000, 50,000, that's just fantastic. And and thanks to the TV coverage, it was long in question whether they, in the big countries, TV coverage will be done. Thank God it's done. So I think this World Cup is another boost for the women's football. The quality of the matches is fantastic. We have a lot of young players stepping up from the smaller teams, and it's just great quality from all the teams. As you said before, the quality of the goalkeeping has raised once again, and we can see so many competitive teams in the quarterfinals. You could say every team of this last 8 could be in the final, and now in semifinals, every team of this 4 can be world champion. And this is just fantastic that it's competitive, and it's just from the level of football that is played, it's another step up. If we look back just for the last World Cup 2019 or the World Cup before 2015, you can't compare this. It was never as competitive as it is now. We don't had the pace in and the technical development. It's just fantastic, and this is another step up for the women's football. I'm really delighted that how this World Cup goes so far, and it's exciting, and we will have a fantastic world champion. We all hope it will be England, but if not, it will be a well-deserved world champion. A really, really great team, whether it's Spain, Sweden, Australia, and of course the Lionesses.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about the 32 teams. I kind of agreed. And at the beginning, when you saw a couple of the group games, you had some really big scores, didn't you, in the opening games? And you're thinking, oh, are we going to start seeing, there was was it 13-0 in the last World Cup? And I was a little bit worried that we were going to see a lot of that, but we didn't, did we? We got a couple in the first week or so. And then suddenly what we saw was the so-called lesser nations, or the smaller footballing nations, really competing well against the bigger teams. And that's been really good to see, hasn't it? And it's made the World Cup really competitive. And, yes, we're going to get a new winner as well on the back of that, a brand new world champion that's never won it before, which is great. So, yeah, I think the 32 teams has worked well, which I agree with you. I didn't think it was going to. I thought we'd get too many silly scores, 10-0 and stuff like that. We didn't want to see that. And luckily, after the first week, it's calmed down, and it has been really, really competitive. Morocco getting through to the knockout stage, for example, Colombia reaching a quarter-final. It's just been amazing to see this growth, hasn't it, in the world, not just in Europe, but in the world. Some of these nations coming from nowhere, really, just performing so well. I mean, Pete, what have you made of the World Cup then overall? It's probably been the best women's World Cup so far, hasn't it, by quite a long way, I think.
Absolutely fantastic, honestly. Especially the group stages when we had 4 games a day, it was incredible. I'm not working as such at the moment, so I've had all the time to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I think the worst one was the 2 o'clock in the morning, the quarter-final, Holland Spain, that went to extra time. So I didn't get to bed till 5 o'clock, and then I had to be up for 8 for the Japan Sweden. That were a killer. I've only just recovered from that.
What a life! What a life! Oh, the life of a rock star.
That's a trooper right there.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But yeah, the standard-wise, I think the football has been great. I think it's been brilliant. The coverage has been really good. With the VAR, the referees explaining the decisions, I think that's worked well. I think they'll probably bring that into the men's game as well.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, a bit different. Yeah, when we'll see it in the Premier League, I'm not quite too sure, because the referees don't. I don't think we'll see the male referees. They don't want to get him. They don't want to speak to anyone, do they? The referees or the public. No. So I'm not sure if it'll work in the Premier League. But yeah, it's been a bit different, hasn't it? It's added something different, and they always try these things at women's tournaments, don't they? They seem to try a few new things out to see how people take to it, and then if it's successful and it works well, they start thinking about using it in the men's game. But I'd be amazed if we start hearing Michael Oliver and people like that explaining the decisions on the loudspeaker in the stadium. I'll be amazed if you see that, actually. But you never know. Maybe it will. It has worked. I like it. World Cup, yeah.
Mike Dean would have loved it, wouldn't he?
Oh, he would have loved it. Of course he would. Oh, absolutely. He would have been out there all the time, wouldn't he? Just talking everything to the crowd. He would have loved it. Yeah, it would have been stuff for him. But unfortunately, he's not there anymore, is he? But anyway. Let's see what happens. Regenda says there, it's time to talk about European women's games over Saturday, Sunday, or Bank Holiday. Well, I mean, it worked well, didn't it? The Bank Holiday Monday game at the Emirates when we had 60,000 there. But I'm not sure that would happen regularly enough. In a group game against some team from Lithuania or something like that, he's not going to attract a big crowd at the Emirates, even if it was a weekend. So, we need to look at that as well. Terry's got a question there for Andreas. Says, Andreas, what do you think about signing Harry Kane? I've signed Harry Kane. Andreas, you must be pleased, are you?
Yeah, it was just exciting yesterday when first we heard the deal is through. He'll come in the morning to make his medical check and then sign the contract. And then Spurs don't let him fly. Then he wanted some negotiations because it was not clear payments to his agent, etc. And then Spurs allowed to fly. Then he was he was in the traffic stuck. And so, but now the deal is through, and I'm really happy about it. I think, yeah, Harry Kane has to prove himself now in another league. It's the first time for him out of his comfort zone in Tottenham. But yeah, he's 30 now. If he wants to win titles, he can't stay at Spurs. He must, yeah. That's the reality. And yeah, let's see whether he can manage with it, with the way he plays in Munich. But yeah, I'm looking forward. He's a fantastic striker, and Bayern Munich was missing a number 9 since Lewandowski left to Barcelona. So I hope he fits in the team, and it's great to see the captain of the Three Lions in German Bundesliga now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll do well. He's a goal scorer, isn't he? He'll score goals. There's no doubt about that. Playing in a good team that generally is at the top of the table, so I'm sure he'll score a lot of goals. Win some trophies finally for his career, because he's got so far without winning anything, hasn't he? So it'd be nice for him to get some trophies in his little cabinet that he's got that's been waiting. A bit dusty now, but I'm sure he'll be able to polish it down and get his trophies in there from Bayern Munich over the next couple of years, which would be nice for him, I suppose.
Well, you see how people. Sorry.
No, go on. I was just going to say.
So it's bad habit I've got. Yeah, no, I was thinking as well. I saw earlier, right? Everyone tells you how the Vicky used to be taken out when he went 9 years without winning a trophy. It's been 15 years since Spurs won a trophy. I saw a clip earlier when it was Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV. He goes, "Oh, we topped your Champions League group," and he pretended to lift the trophy last season, and they went on to face Milan and lose in the last 16. And then he said, "Oh, that's the last time he lifted a trophy." And the Spurs fan jokingly was going back. It was like, what was he saying? He was saying, "Oh, the last time you were in the Champions League, Emil Smith Rowe and Bukayo Saka were being breastfed." It was quite funny, I thought. I mean, there's a banter between the clubs, but I mean, look where we are now compared to them. They've got a lot to prove now as well. But anyway, can I give my brief thoughts on this Women's World Cup? I don't know if you asked me or
absolutely. Yeah, no, we're going to come on to it. It's just that Terry brought up Harry Kane. So
okay, yeah, fine.
We'll blame Terry for going off track a little bit and talking about Harry Kane.
Right. No, but I think it's been great. I heard on the radio said they expect the total attendance of the World Cup to be 1.9 million by the time, 1.9 million by the time the final comes around. I think it's just good. It just shows the growth of the game. If this World Cup has proven anything, it's a new world. This has definitely been, as you've seen so many times in sport down here. It's not just football, but there's been a changing of the guard and the world order, the new world order, or whatever you call it, as well and truly shown that it can compete with the giants of the game, and it's no longer about 3 or 4 teams, and it's great to see. I think it's been so refreshing, the emergence of like Colombia, they would bow out in style. You know, they reached their first ever, only the second ever South American team to reach a World Cup quarterfinal. We've seen the emergence of the likes of Morocco and 1 or 2 other teams, for example, and yeah, it's been great. I think it's just the VAR and VAR being announced on the pitch. It's been great, and I think it's only going to grow, and hopefully it'll get better and better. And as you said, whoever wins it, be worthy champions. And yeah, it just goes to show that it's. How do I say it just continues to grow and thrill us with every game, and hopefully we'll get 2 brilliant semi-finals. For a 34th place playoff will be great, and then the final will be a showpiece that this tournament deserves, and long may it continue.
Exactly, yeah. Although having said that, if England lose on Wednesday, then it'll be a terrible World Cup. We'll hate it and we wish it right. But until then, we're going to love it as we deserve to.
Can I give you a quirky stat, Richard?
Yeah, go on. Do stat.
Yeah, this will be the 4th consecutive tournament in which Sarina Wiegman has faced a Swedish manager.
Is it? Well, yeah, obviously the last.
Yeah, it was Pia Sundhage in Euro 2017. It was Euro 2017. 2019, she faced Peter Gerhardsen. Last year was Peter Gerhardsen, and this now is Tony Gustafsson. So 4 consecutive Swedes, and her teams have never conceded a goal in those previous 3 games. So the omens are good, eh?
Oh, that's good. But we need to get to the final first.
Just thought I'd throw that in there.
It is a good stat, and let's hope that it pays off in the end.
Right, what was Terry saying there?
He was saying sex, drugs, rock and roll in the Women's World Cup. He said Pete's my hero.
What's he on? What's he on? Drugs.
Brilliant. Cheers, Terry. Thanks, Terry. I've actually got my 50th year testimonial, and
Wow.
I planned this ages ago, and I've made a bit of a cock up because the date of my testimonial is the date of the Women's World Cup on the 20th of August. I've got an half past 10 kickoff, and I think the Women's World Cup kicked off at 11 o'clock, I believe. So I'm gonna see what happens on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And if we get through, I might have to change kickoff time to a 9 o'clock kickoff.
What I would say is don't change it before Wednesday because that will then curse.
I'm not gonna. I am not going to.
No.
I'm leaving it as it is. And then if we can get a squeeze a 9 o'clock kickoff in, we can. All lads won't be very happy with me, but I don't care because I'm going to get to the pub and we'll watch the final.
That sounds like a good plan, actually, doesn't it? Let's be honest. What a day that will be.
Yeah.
That's it stuff. So Regenda says, I felt some fouls, allowed not outside the area, but allowed in the but I think that's the same with all football, isn't it? Certain things outside the penalty area, inside the penalty area, seems to have to be more serious inside the penalty area because I suppose the punishment is harsher, isn't it, as a penalty as opposed to a free kick? I suppose I don't know, but that always seems to be the way with football, doesn't it? LG says that England are winning the World Cup, as painful as it is for me to say. Well, I hope you're right. I do hope you're right. But let's see, there's still a lot of football to be played yet before we can start dreaming of lifting that World Cup. It would be nice, wouldn't it? But Daniel says that Bayern are number one team in Germany, so we should win something. Obviously, we expect that Bayern will win something. It would be quite funny in a way if Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich to win trophies and he doesn't win it. It would be quite. I know Andreas wouldn't like it, but it would be quite funny from our perspective.
It would be weird for him being Arsenal fans saying Spurs don't win a trophy, but then again, let's see.
It's like you might not remember, but when Teddy Sheringham went from Tottenham to Man United, he made a big point of saying he'd left to go to Man United to win trophies. In the first season he was at Man United, Arsenal won the double, and Man United didn't win anything. And that was quite funny for a season, and then they won a treble the season after, so that kind of shut us up a little bit, didn't it? But it would amuse me slightly if he won nothing this season anyway. But I suppose
he's scoring. Kane's sorry, I know. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting. It's really bad. I'm sorry, but he's scoring against Tuchel one season, and now he's playing under Tuchel. Isn't it just funny how things evolve?
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. We'll see how that works out. David says any four can win this World Cup. Yeah, we said that before. We think so. It's obviously, I would say there's only really going to be one winner, but potentially any four can win it. Yeah, only one are actually going to win it, and we know that is going to win. Terry says, I'm hoping Bayern go on a 4-year winning nothing.
No. I can't agree with this.
I know
that's 11 straight Bundesliga. 11 straight Bundesligas. 11.
I know, yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's going to be what Man City are going to do in England, isn't it? That'll be
really no. Let's not say that. But yeah.
Well, I can see it happening, to be honest with you. Regenda says that hopefully it's going to be Australia or England. Well, hopefully England, yeah, but we'll see. Regenda says we have players in both teams and Sweden as well. Let's not forget we've got 3 players in Sweden.
3 players in Sweden. Yeah.
7 players in 14. I think that's the most of any club, maybe bar Barcelona, but that has to be checked.
Yeah, but when Spain get knocked out, there'll be no Barcelona players left. So obviously, the 2 that play for England. But that's it, really. So Regenda says, except the Japanese penalty, how did she fall? Yeah, that wasn't a penalty, was it? That was a strange one yesterday, the Japanese penalty. I don't quite know how they got a penalty for that. But anyway, she missed it. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, it has been a great World Cup. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The progression in the women's team, women's football, has been fantastic over the last 3 or 4 years. I say even since the last World Cup, that's how much it's progressed that quickly, and it's great to see. And long way to continue. And let's hope that there's a lot more great football to come from the women's game, both internationally and domestically, and I say further down at grassroots level as well, because that's where it matters as well, doesn't it? So we need to make sure that we're getting enough investment there as well, and I'm sure that is something that's going to be moving on it as well. I mean, it's moved on already, hasn't it, in the last few years as it is. So yeah, brilliant stuff. So how are we going to get on against Australia? We do need a score prediction because we always do a score prediction. It's Australia versus England, the hosts against the European champions. Australia, the only team to beat England under Sarina, and that was that rather disappointing game back in, was it March or April time, wasn't it, when Leah Williams had a bit of a nightmare, didn't she, against Sam Kerr, as tends to be the case. What are you thinking, Andreas? Are we going to do it when it matters in a World Cup semi-final, or is it going to be the hosts to go through? What do we think?
It will be a very, very close match, and Australia has the home advantage, and of course they will have 70,000 people cheering them on. But today it was like an away match for us too, against Colombia. I think from 50,000 there were 49,000 Colombian fans. So the team has shown that they can deal with this. And the advantage for us is that Australia had to go 120 minutes all through to a very, very tough match. And of course they won it, and they got more self-confidence from it, but it was really tough for them, and it's a difference if you play 120 130 minutes, or we did it in 90 minutes plus extra time. So this is a small advantage for us. Of course, Sam Kerr will be back. I'm sure she will start against us. And Leah is not there. so hopefully our back three can deal with Sam Kerr, but we know how good she is. And even if she needs 10 chances, as you always say, or 15 chances, but sometimes often she's the player to make the difference. So it will be a very, very close match, and I don't expect many goals. I say we will win. Of course, I have to say this, and it will be after extra time, just a 1-0. And our nerves will be extremely forced another time. But hopefully no penalties. Again, I don't need penalties. Penalty shootout. This is the most terrible thing in football. So let's hope it will be a 1-0 after extra time for us, and we will advance to the final.
All I would just say is, though, Andreas, I mean, you know, we're English and you're German. If you don't like penalty shootouts,
he's used to it. He's used to it.
We've suffered. I know recently it's been a little bit better, and obviously the women won the other night, but. Yeah, I mean, it's we've suffered terribly with penalties over the years, haven't we? So yeah, the last thing we really want is penalties. But both Australia and England have won a penalty shootout at this World Cup, so that's going to be interesting to see that if it went to penalties, both teams would fancy their chances, I would say. Terry, of course, doesn't hold back. He's gone 5-1 England. Look at that. There we go. 5-1 England.
What does he think this is? What does he think this is? Does he think this is an Ashes series or something?
We do love his optimism. I'm sure Russo is going to score 4 of them as well, probably. It would be nice to win 5-1, let's be honest, but I'll be amazed if it is a game like that. Mark, what's your score prediction then for the Australia game on Wednesday? Are we going to win? First of all,
yeah, I was actually thinking along the same lines, Andreas. You know, you're sure the Germans being used to penalty shootouts, it's in their blood, isn't it? Well, I know I could go through a tough one. Honestly, even though I wasn't an Australia or France fan, they put me through that. It was 20 penalties, and the number they missed, I thought France were going to go through it. Now I think it'll be tight and tense. It's great to see. We've finally been waiting for this rivalry to play out women's football. We haven't ever played each other in a women's World Cup. It'll be their first semi-final. They have the magnificent backing of their fantastic fans behind them. It'll be like England it'll be like just like the Ashes in many ways. You've just seen when England go there, we had a brilliant. It's just a fantastic rivalry, and I think it's going to continue. It's great to see it happen. And with regards to the score, it'll be tight and tense. Or maybe nick a goal, go 1-0 up. They'll equalise late, and it'll be tight. And maybe in the last minute of extra time, we'll sneak a winner from a set piece or something. So I'll go 2-1 England after extra time.
Wow, 2-1 after extra time. LG's gone Australia 2, England 0. You said England were going to win the World Cup a minute ago, so we're going to beat Australia then, aren't we? If we're going to win the World Cup. But anyway, let's see. LG's always said there, how good is Courtney Cross? It seems.
Courtney Cross, yeah. Julie Cross.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, so that's exactly. She's doing really well. So let's see. Terry says no, Russo only a hat trick. Oh, okay, only a hat trick for Russo.
Only.
Only.
Yeah.
We'll take.
We would take this.
Yeah, we'll be quite happy with that if Russo gets a hat trick. Pete, what are you thinking then for England Australia? Are we going to win and are we going to be in the final again?
I've been quite impressed by Australia. Really, I think they've got a good side. The goalkeeper's good, Mackenzie Arnold. She's a good keeper. Ellie Carpenter's playing well. Kennedy at back. They're a good side. But I think we'll be too strong for it. I think we're due some goals. I think we're going to beat them 3-1. And I think we're going to. I think Lucy Bronze is due a goal, and I think Rachel Daly due another one. Yeah. And I think it'll be Hemp or Russo with the other. It'll be 3-1 England in normal time.
Well, I mean that would be good.
Confidence, I like it.
Yeah, no, it's good. Didn't Australia beat us in the Olympics? Didn't they?
Yes, they did. Great Britain, that's right.
3 or so.
Yeah, but that was then. This is a different England team now, isn't it? As we know, so I'm sure we're gonna.
We'll just blame the Scottish players for that one, I think. Can we do that?
Well, yeah, I would say so. It's definitely their fault. And the manager probably as well. But anyway, Terry says Amar's turning into Matt. Well, he said we were going to win. There's nothing wrong with that, is it?
How have I turned into Matt?
I know Matt used to say we were going to lose every week, didn't he? But it seemed to work, so we didn't really mind. Rajendra says we have 3-1 advantage of getting some Arsenal players winning the World Cup. I'm sure an Arsenal player's going to win the World Cup. Let's hope it's Russo and Lotta. Anyway, let's see. I mean, we've got to be optimistic, haven't we? I'm going to say we'll win, but I agree with Pete. I think Australia are a good side. They've got some very good players.
Very good side.
They're the only team to beat us under Sarina, and they did kind of beat. Well, it wasn't really us; it was Team GB in the Olympics, but they did beat us in that as well. I think it's going to be tight, and I do think it's going to be a very, very nervy couple of hours, potentially longer. But I actually agree with Pete. I think we'll win in normal time. I think it'll be 2-1 in normal time. And I think it's going to be a very tense second half. I think we'll get ourselves in front and we'll be hanging on at the end and they'll be peppering our goal and stuff like that. And we'll be throwing bodies in the way and Millie Bright will be heading everything out. It's going to be one of the best of the wall.
Millie Bright just
and then 10 minutes to go, Chloe Kelly will go and run into the corner flag and try and keep it there like she did in the Euros. But anyway, I'll go 2-1 in 90 minutes plus injury time, and I think we'll just about scrape through. What about the other one then, Andreas? Sweden against Spain. Who's winning that one? Who are we playing in the final?
I would love to see Sweden in the final, but I think Spain will win this. We'll see once again Spain with the ball possession 70%, 75%, and Sweden's chance is that they don't need a lot of the ball. They need set pieces or corners to win this. But I think Spain will win this, and maybe 2-0 for Spain. We're going to face Spain in the final.
We don't want to face Spain in the final, do we? But we'll take it, I suppose, if we get through. But I mean, I suppose realistically, that's probably a fair assessment. Emma, do you think it's going to be Spain as well, or can Sweden do it?
It's a tough one to do. Sweden they didn't show much going forward. They were very resilient, and ultimately, USA paid the price in the last 16. Then will not be clinical enough. But mind you, Musovic, they've got a fantastic keeper. When you have a fantastic keeper like the way Musovic has been playing this tournament, you always have a chance. Spain were dominant against Netherlands. Sweden played much better against Japan. Spain have gone okay. Apart from that defeat to Japan, they've gone under the radar. They were excellent against the Netherlands. I thought should have won by more. Had again not been a goalkeeper, so it's really tight. It's a battle of two very good goalkeepers, Musovic and who's the Spanish goalkeeper? I can't remember now, but let's see. It's a tough one to call. I think they'll edge it. It'll probably be 1-0 Spain or something like that. But I agree with Andreas. I think Spain will probably just edge it.
Okay. I mean, are you going to give us any hope, Pete? Come on. We need Spain to be out, really. Are you confident that Sweden can be the team to do it?
I think Sweden will go through. I think Spain are a bit toothless. to be honest. I think Sweden will win 2-0, and I think they'll dominate them.
I must admit, I feel the same. I do think that, you know, as Sweden showed against Japan, I think playing against a team like Spain will actually suit them better than if they were playing, say, Australia, or if they were playing us, or if they were playing another team. I actually think it suits them quite well, Sweden. They've got that aerial threat from set pieces. I think they're physically stronger. And yes, I think they've got goals in them. I do think Sweden will win. I said they'd beat Japan, and they did. And I'm going to say they'll beat Spain. And I'm going to go, I think it will be, I don't know, I think it will be a tight game. It might just be 1-0. I think Amanda Illerstadt's going to get the golden boot. She's going to score again. So yeah, I think Sweden will win actually, but it's going to be a good game. So we'll see that. Vagenda says that was Team GB of a poor coach. Yeah, well, it was Team GB. A lot of
it was. She was a poor coach. I agree.
Poor coach. Vagenda says, did you see Katie's goal from a corner? Yeah, we did. That was a pretty good. We enjoyed that one. Katie McCabe's corner goal for the Republic of Ireland, their first and only ever goal in the World Cup, was it, didn't it? Terry says there. So Pete, these three haven't got a clue. I've been telling them for the last few seasons.
Well, Terry, you come on the show. You come on the show, and we'll have Will you come on the show, Terry? This is invite you. I want to see you on the show. I want to see you on the show. You come on.
Yeah, you'll come on one day. I'm sure you will. LG says it's funny how the commentators praising Builder for doing a magnificent job. Even I could coach that Spanish team. Well, I don't know, with Italian coach to World Cup. So, well, see, I've had this conversation before. People say the same about Pep, don't they? It's like, you know, if you've got great players, it's quite easy. Well, it's easier to win games with great players than with not so great players. But I said this before, and I'll say it again now. I think that if Pep managed the Arsenal team last season with the same players, Arsenal would have won the league with Pep as manager.
Probably.
Because Pep would be able to get more out of them. And I think that this Spanish manager, yes, he's got great players, and it's difficult to lose games when you've got such a good team. But I do think the manager makes that difference between making those good players play as a team together. And I think that's quite important. I think the manager's role is really, really important. Yes, you need to have great players, of course you do. And England are fortunate at the moment, we've got great players. But if we had these great players, as we've seen before, with a different coach, would we be European champions? Would we be in a semi-final of the World Cup? I would say probably not. So the coach is massively important. And we can't say Sarina's done a great job for England doing what she's done without praising the coaches of the other teams that are doing well, because they play a big part in that as well. So he does deserve praise. Yes, it would be a failure if he didn't reach semi-finals and was getting knocked out earlier in tournaments because of the players that they've got. But to get to a semi-final of a World Cup, it takes great players, but it also takes a great coach to get that team to where they are. I think you can't just dismiss that just because of the players, because you can have all the great players in the world. If you can't gel them together, it's not going to work. So I think coaches need the credit, and I think Vilda needs credit as much as Sarina does.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
If they go from facing each other in the final, it's the two best coaches and the two best teams, and I think that's how it needs to be.
Yeah, definitely.
We can't dismiss that. Rajendra says if the ref was the same as England v Colombia, then they have a chance. Well, I don't know who the ref's going to be. We'll have to see. Terry says Spain will crumble under the
AI.
Yeah, I think they will. And I think Spain might crumble when the pressure's on, because they've done that before. And it's like a Spanish thing, isn't it? You know, you look at Arteta for Arsenal. I know Pep doesn't tend to do it, but he's different maybe slightly. But I do think it's maybe a Spanish thing. You know, they don't always have that mentality to when the going gets tough. It's happened in the past, you know, and I don't know. I just feel with this Spanish women's team, what I've seen of them, I wouldn't be surprised if they do crumble in the semi-final. And Sweden, with all their aerial power and their set-piece deliveries and stuff, I think they'll win.
You say that, Richard. Yeah, sorry. You said that, Richard, but if you think Proteus was suffered that injury on the eve of the Euros last time, I think they want to win it for her as well. There's the thing in the back of their mind after what they've been through as well. If you think with the Union and how many players were refusing to play for Vilda and all the things that went on pre-tournament, I think they want to. I think there's something in them. There's that fire in their belly that they want to win it for what's been happening and for Alexia as well. So I mean, let's see, but it'll be a fascinating semi-final nonetheless.
No, it will, and I just think yes. I think Spain are probably, as we said, they're going to have a lot of possession of the ball. Of course they are. We know that's how they play the game. But can they deal with Sweden's set pieces? I don't think they can. And I think Sweden will win. It's going to be great, and I'm going to enjoy that. Regenda says that the Spain team has been coached well in Spain, and the Spain women will win, but they are women, not the men. No, I wouldn't be surprised if they win, but I don't think they're going to. Terry says the only thing that Spain has is nice beaches. Yeah, it does have nice beaches, and it has nice weather as well. So yeah, they play some good football as well. But anyway,
what's he saying?
So,
saying that Sweden? What's he going to do about Sweden? Sweden have nice goals or something? Who knows?
and Sweden got ABBA. So what more do you want? I mean, that's pretty much all you need, isn't it? Sweden, they've got ABBA and IKEA. I mean, Sweden's winning, isn't it? Let's be honest. Just on that basis alone.
But they've got ABBA, they've got Jonas, they've got one or two other good things.
Well, exactly. Jonas as well. Yeah, of course they got Stina as well.
ABBA, they've got Jonas, they've got everything.
Yeah, so no, Sweden's all right actually. We like Sweden, so that's fine. So yeah, I think it's going to be an England-Sweden final. Pete thinks it's going to be England-Sweden final. Andreas thinks England-Spain. Amar thinks England-Spain. Rajendra thinks England-Spain. Terry thinks England-Sweden. Everyone thinks England, apart from LJ said Australia are going to win, but we know he didn't mean it. So yeah, it's gonna be a great week, isn't it? Tuesday and Wednesday morning, early starts, of course. I'll have to see if I can watch the England game at work. I don't know. I'll have to get a job with Pete actually, quite honestly. Then I don't have to go to work, and then it'll be fine. I can get up. If I can
he listened to you on the radio earlier. He listened to it on the radio. I'm joking.
On Monday, luckily I didn't start work till late, but I had to go into work, so I couldn't see extra time. But I kind of watched it and the penalties at work, so it wasn't too bad. So hopefully on Wednesday we can watch the whole game, have it on the telly at work, and hopefully that'll be all right. We'll see. I definitely want to watch it. I'll have it on my phone or something anyway, secretly, if I can't get away with watching it properly. But I'm sure they'll let us watch it. But yeah, we'll see. LG's gone. Spain v. No, we don't want to hear that, do we? Go away. You don't mean it, dear. You know that now. Regenda says, hope the final is Sweden v Australia or England. No, why'd you say Australia or England? No, you hope it's going to be Sweden v England. That's what you hope for. That's what we all hope for. The dream final. The dream final is England v Sweden, isn't it? Just like the dream final at the Euros was England against Germany. It's what we all wanted, and that's what we got. And in this World Cup, it's got to be England Sweden. That's the dream final, and it's going to happen again, and it's going to be great, and we're going to love it. And we're just going to just enjoy the final week of the World Cup, because it has been a great tournament, and it's grown as it's gone on as well. It's got better and better and better. The games have got better. The more excitement. We've seen some fantastic moments. We've seen some great goals, some great games, some excitement, some thrills, some shocks as well. Of course, lots of shocks, which has been good. And hopefully it'll end in the right way with Millie Bright going up and lifting that trophy. Two years in a row. I couldn't even get my head around last year seeing England actually win a trophy, let alone did it two summers in a row. It'd just be incredible, wouldn't it? Well, but it's going to be good, so we'll enjoy that, won't we? Pete, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on finally. It's great to meet you and great to have you on. Just tell everyone where they can buy your fantastic music, because everyone should be buying it, and it should be the best-selling record of the year because it's brilliant. Where can people find your records? Where can they buy them?
I've got a Bandcamp account, so if you search for Pete Drake Music UK, I'm on Bandcamp, and any purchase off there, it goes all directly to me. But I am on Spotify, I'm on YouTube as well, all the streaming sites, and I'm about. And thanks for having me. Nice to meet you, Andreas. And
nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
It's been a nice evening, a good day of football indeed.
Oh, it's been great.
It's been a very good day of football. Arsenal won as well. Same goes with Trinity, only drew 0-0, but we kind of have everything.
Well,
and if you do go to Pete's site, make sure you definitely buy that album. It's called Singles, Unreleased and Remixes, and it's absolutely brilliant. And it's the best album that I've got on my. And of course, the World Cup one as well. Don't forget the World Cup one as well. And if England win the World Cup, England won the Euros because of Pete's song last year, so England might win the World Cup on the back of Pete's song. So you want to make sure so definitely get that one as well. I don't know if it's sort of gone a bit see-through there, isn't it? But anyway, there it is. So definitely get those two, plus everything else as well. Just go and buy everything on that site. Just buy it out, sell it out, so that Pete has to go and make some more new records. Have you got anything new coming out of it, Pete, or are you having a bit of a break now?
I've got some new songs that I've been playing live at some festivals, but I've not recorded them yet.
Right.
I'm always right.
Facebook. What was that one on Facebook you did the other week? That was brilliant. That about the X Factor or something.
Oh yeah, I forgot what it's called now. I wasn't asked that one. About
that one, I can't wait for that one to come out. That was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to record that, but there's a few others as well. There's stuff in the pipeline. You'll be glad to hear.
Well, we look forward to that. I mean, what I'll have to do is eventually get some different ones on the channel, because we've been using the same 2 or 3 now for a while. Maybe it's time to mix it up a little bit and get some different Pete Drake music on the channel, because it's always fun. Rajendra says there, my brother's family is in Oz as well as my daughter gone there to live. I've got a cousin who lives in Australia. So one of my sons has lived in New Zealand. So I've got people over that side of the world, but they are from England originally, so they want England to win as well. So there you go. But yeah, so LG says there, the difference between 2019 World Cup and 2023 World Cup is night and day.
Yeah.
Well, it is almost night and day, because the games are played at night instead of during the day. So it definitely is.
It's not what he meant.
Now we're having to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to watch them. So it definitely is a difference between night and day. But no, I do get your point, and you're right. It has been massively different. You're right, the progress. Terry says, great show tonight, Richard. The man of mystery, Andreas, the one and only Amar, and my favourite, Sir Pete. Lovely meeting you. Please come on again. These 3 have. I've got faith too. What are you on about?
I've got faith. I've got faith.
It's just Amar keeps thinking we're going to lose or whatever. Terry says, can I buy a signed copy of the CD for my hero? I'm sure Pete will get you a signed copy, won't you, Pete? You'll sort one out for Terry, won't you? A signed copy.
Yeah, we can sort that out for you, Terry.
Yeah, it's literally brilliant. So definitely go on to the there's a link anyway in the description to all the videos. Just click on there, you'll go there and you can search around and you'll find loads of great stuff that you'll enjoy. But I like the Toya song myself. I think that's fantastic. It's so funny. But yeah, there's loads of great stuff on there. So that's good stuff. Yeah, Terry will get a signed copy of the CD. There you go. If anyone else wants a signed copy, let us know, and you'll have to. You can get one. Andreas, as I know you're in a slightly different location again. You are the international man of mystery, and you've been moving around again this week. So it's good to see you anyway, with a different background again. Have you enjoyed coming on the show?
Yeah, I'm glad that I could make it to the show. Was great discussion as always, and was nice to meet Pete for the first time. I think the photo on the CD cover was taken before last World Cup. Am I right?
Yeah, a little bit more hair there, you can see.
Yeah, you lost your hair in these 4 years.
It was at least a week old.
It was a 1982 World Cup, that one.
Okay.
Wow.
41 years ago. Jeez. 41 years ago.
But yeah, no, it has been great. I say it's great to everyone as well. And I say obviously you're busy this weekend, but it's nice that you found the time to pop on and chat to us, which has been great as always. Amar as well. I know we can't really see you because you're a bit dark. It's good to see you.
It's the lighting in my house in general. It's a bit slippery. Sorry, that's been the case. But yeah, no, it was really good. Been a great day, tense from the start. Following, I was screening the Arsenal game and watching England game at the same time, and then coming on here being Pete for the first time. For a second, I going forward, I thought that no one would want to confuse you two going forward in the street because you look quite like each other. There you go. Sorry, that's just being me. I heard sometimes I'll get confused if I bet either of you on the street. But anyway, I'm only kidding. But no, it was really good. Hopefully it probably is to be another momentous week. This team's playing great. Can't wait for the semis. Hopefully, I'll be able to swap and shift with work with someone because I've got work on Wednesday when the game's on. So I mean, let's see. It promises to be a great couple of semi-finals. What's been another brilliant tournament, and doing what we do best. As I say every time, it's just great to be with you guys and to be reaching out to globally to all the subscribers we have here, and I'm looking forward to hopefully us continuing on this journey on Wednesday. Hopefully,
that's what we all want. That's what we were hoping for, and I'm sure we'll have a great chance. I mean, if you're saying that me and Pete look quite alike, I'm sure. I look on that as a big compliment. I'm not quite sure Pete will, but anyway.
No. I was pulling your leg.
I mean, I'm a little bit older actually, so maybe I should take it as a compliment.
A little bit. I'm just kidding.
And of course, I say, Pete, we've played your songs on this channel for quite a long time. We've obviously talked about it, and finally now people have actually got to see who we've been talking about and who makes this great music. So it's been great to have you on.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me.
We'll have to get, as Terry said, we'll have to get you back on again. Maybe after the final, you've had a few beers and that, you could be quite lively, couldn't it? I suppose. Just before we go, we've had some hot off the press news from LG. He says Bayern is currently losing 3-0 in the German Super Cup final. The Harry Kane curse is striking in Munich. Well, wow, 3-0. There you go. You see, we said, didn't we, it was going to be a 4-year drought, and maybe it's starting already. So the Harry Kane effect, we'll call it. So let's see what happens.
Hurricane effect.
Terry says, cheers, OG, best news I've heard. Well, it just makes it even better news. It's been a good day all round, hasn't it? Apart from Andreas, we have to feel a bit sorry for Andreas because his team loses. So Regina says, can we hear the World Cup song? Well, it's on a little introduction bit. That's the song. That's one of them anyway. The other side is the Europeans in Australia, isn't it? Which goes on about Ramona Bachmann, which is quite good as well. So there's quite a lot of references there to various players and various venues, as we said before. So it's all good stuff. But yes, it is a song that we've got on our introduction to the show. So we're going to play that very shortly for you. So you listen to that. It is good. And yeah, it's been a good show tonight. It's been a good day. It's been a good start to the Premier League season. It's been a good weekend in the World Cup. And as always, of course, we've still got the semi-finals to come. And hopefully next Sunday we'll all be round at Pete's watching the final in that clubhouse, wherever that was in Sunday. Which will be good. So we'll all come and join in with that. But that's going to be fun next Sunday, hopefully. LG says, coming late to the show, but still enjoyed it. Cheers, guys. No problem at all. Even though you said it, we'll let you off. We'll let you off because we know you don't mean it. We know you want England to win. We know you do. So yeah, thanks to all you guys for watching. Obviously, thanks to Andreas as always, to Amar, and of course, especially to Pete for coming on tonight and bringing us some great comments and of course his great music that we enjoy. So definitely go check out the link on the description and go and buy every single bit of music you can find that Pete Drake's ever done, and you won't regret it. Trust me, it's in my car all the time, blaring out of my window. Everyone else has got this like rave music going on at traffic lights. I wind my windows down and Pete Drake's blaring out of my car. Everyone, I don't care. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So definitely get onto that. And so we'll be back on, what day is it? Oh, where are we?
Wednesday,
Saturday, isn't it? Tuesday night, Adam's here for the Arsenal review. We'll be looking at the Nottingham Forest game and looking ahead to the Crystal Palace game next week. Obviously, Wednesday night we'll be here looking at the semi-finals. Hopefully, we're looking at an England win and we're in the final. We'll be fighting for that. And then, of course, we've got hopefully a World Cup final next weekend to enjoy. But let's not get too carried away just yet. We've got a tough game to come first, but we will hopefully enjoy that. So thanks to everyone for watching. Don't forget, give us a like before you leave, and don't forget to subscribe and go and buy some Pete Drake CDs because you definitely won't regret it. Because Toya's got a Pete Drake. What is it? It's a Pete Drake something or other she's got, isn't she? What is it she's got again? A badge. But we all need to have a Pete Drake badge. If Toya's got one, we all need to have one, don't we? So don't get a Pete Drake badge as well. You can say that you've got something that Toya's got. She was great in the day, and now she's got a Pete Drake badge, and that's what so go over there, get that sorted. We will see you very soon. Come on, you Lionesses. Let's win this. And the song that Rajanda wanted to hear is this song from Pete Drake. Go and get it. It's this one here. It's fantastic. And definitely, I don't know why I keep saying see-through. Anyway, I'll put because it's got yellow in it, maybe. But anyway, there it is there. That's what it looks like. Go and get it. It is brilliant. We're going to play it out now. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
This is great.
Lionesses, you come so far, but don't forget who you are. Your roots are yours, but also ours, giving hope to rising stars. Lionesses, here we go, 2-0.